Makita ang slides, guys. Okay. So let's continue our discussion in types of qualitative research. So this is the last part where we last discussed last meeting. So narrative research. It is a design of inquiry from the humanities in which the researcher studies the lives of individuals and asks one or more individuals to provide stories about their lives. Itong narrative research, this type of approach typically focuses on the lives of individuals as told through their own stories. So that's why it's narrative research. It's because it's about the life story of your participants. The emphasis in such approach is on the story, typically both what and how is narrated. How and what are the stories being narrated by the participants. So narrative methods can be considered real-world measures that are appropriate when real-life problems are investigated. So it's highly contextualized. It's because it focuses on the narrative of one person. So basically, when you say narrative research, it is a linear approach because it encompasses the study of the experiences of a single individual, embracing stories of the life and exploring the learned significance of those individual experiences. So you need to extract information from your participants regarding of the topic that you're investigating with in your research study. So you need to inquire them about the questions that you want to answer in your research based on their life stories. That's narrative research. Next, we have phenomenological research. It is a design of inquiry coming from philosophy and psychology in which the researcher describes the lived experiences of individuals about a phenomenon as described by participants. So in phenomenological research, it enables the researchers to explore the lived experiences and the sensory perception. When you say sensory perception, different to abstract perceptions of the phenomenon that you want to deal with. And for information and understanding of based on experiences and perceptions of the researcher, meaning mga opinion, research participants, mga opinion nila about their experiences. That's why it's called phenomenological kasi it's about a phenomenon. Next, we have grounded theory. It is a design of inquiry from sociology in which the researcher derives a general, abstract theory of a process, action, or interaction grounded in the views of participants. Say grounded theory, it is a systematic methodology in the social sciences involving the construction of theories through methodical gathering and analysis of data. Itong grounded theory, usually, ginagawa siya if yung study niyo is like a pioneering study. Meaning, nauna ka na mag-conduct ng ganyang study. And you have no theory base para sa study. Meaning, conducting this kind of study, you can generate your own theory para sa study. Wala talagang existing theory para sa study mo. Meaning, you create your own theory. Then ethnography. It is a design of inquiry coming from anthropology and sociology in which the researcher studies the shared patterns of behaviors, language, and actions of an intact cultural group in a natural setting over a prolonged period of time. Data collection often involves observations and interviews. Itong ethnographic research, it is a type of qualitative method where researchers observe or interact with the study's participants in the real life environment. Meaning you need to immerse yourself. Whatever your purpose is or objective is you conduct a study. In ethnography, you need to live with your participants, meaning you go to their community, you need to experience their daily lives, you need to experience their culture, yung ginagawa nila. So you need to immerse yourself in their living, in their culture, etc. You need to live and work with them. Next, you have case studies. Case studies are a design of inquiry found in many fields, especially evaluation, in which the researcher develops an in-depth analysis of a case, often a program, event, activity, process, or one or more individuals. Itong case study, it can be defined as an intensive study about a person, a group of people, or a unit, or a program which is aimed to um, generalize or conclude several units. Halimbawa, itong case studies, if you want to study about the language development, or if you want to study about uh, certain situations, pwede siya, ang case studies, pwede siya isa ra kabok ang inyong yung participant. Um, ang tawag sa participant para sa kining study is subject tawag. So, sa res qualitative research, usually if you employ people as your participants, tawag is research participants. Pag quantitative, respondents. Although case studies is an example of a qualitative study, pero ang tawag sa participants na kay subject. So there are different terminologies appropriate to use when you refer to your subject of research. Next, we have historical study. Is concerned with the identification, location, evaluation, and synthesis of data from past events. This is not only limited to obtaining data from the past, but it also involves relating their implications to the present and future time. So it involves interpreting past events and predict future ones. Nani ang historical study. So you need to study over the period of time to explain present phenomena. You need to study the past. Next, we have critical qualitative research. This type of research seeks to bring about change and empower individuals by describing and critiquing the social, cultural, and psychological perspectives on present-day context. Itong critical qualitative research, this is a kind of research wherein you need to find solution and implement a program. But the process of conducting this kind of research is qualitative in nature siya. This focuses on analyzing and evaluating social, cultural, and psychological aspects in modern times. And we have postmodern research. The approach of this type of research seeks to analyze the facts that have been established as truth, the ability of research and science to discover truth in all generalizations and typologies. Itong postmodern research, philosophical in nature siya. It's a complex process in conducting the research. Ginagamit siya usually sa fields of philosophy. Then we have basic interpretative qualitative study. This is used when a researcher is interested in identifying how individuals give meaning to a situation or phenomenon. So it's like all the characteristics of a qualitative research. So we need to understand a phenomenon, how the participants make meaning of a certain situation. It's like inductive strategy, and it provides deductive outcomes. And let's proceed to the strengths and weaknesses of qualitative research. The strengths of qualitative research. The study requires a few cases or participants. So this is the advantage in conducting qualitative study. Pwede na isa ra imuhang participant or imong subject, or pwede siya na 5 ang imong participants lang. If you want, if you need to gather information from people. Pero pwede pod ka no need to have research participants if you're going to conduct a content analysis. Meaning, pwede ka mag-analyze lang og text or materials, depende sa requirements sa imong study. It is useful for describing complex phenomena since you are free to analyze and evaluate everything what you can study sa imuang uh, sa imuang data sa qualitative study. Unlike sa quantitative study, you are bound to limitations based on your research questions kasi ang data nimo is numerical data. So no, you're not allowed to include the opinions of your respondents. Diri sa qualitative study, you can explore so many things as long as you have the basis. Okay, issues can be examined in detail and in depth. So as what I've mentioned last meeting, may pagka-subjective siya. It's because it's up to the researcher what are the things that they can analyze dun sa study based sa data na gather. So as long as you have your theoretical framework or related literature that can support your claims or your arguments. Interviews are not restricted to specific questions and can be guided or redirected by the researcher in real time. So, unlike sa quantitative, yung quantitative kasi sa survey questionnaire, mag-rate lang as what you have conducted sa APP, nag-rate lang ang respondents dito based sa Likert scale. About a 5-point Likert scale or 7-point Likert scale. So, diri sa qualitative study, you have to interview your participants if you need participants sa inyong study. So, it's up to them kung unsa ilang i-answer, what they're going to provide or how they're going to respond to the questions as long as related siya sa questions. Okay. Subtleties and complexities about the research subjects or topic are often missed by the positivistic inquiries. So, which it means that itong positivistic inquiries kasi, it's more of mga complex studies siya, especially sa field of philosophy na discipline. So, usually, um, complex ang iyahang pag-delve sa topic. It's because more of what do you call that? Sa metaphysical, it's about philosophy. It's about metaphysics. It provides individual case information. So dito sa qualitative, you can gather information on a personal level. Unlike sa quantitative, you need to generalize. Like halimbawa um, kasi number sa quantitative. So you need to find out the like the average or the mean. Dito sa qualitative, you can discuss the individual responses of the participants. Then cross-case comparisons and analysis can be conducted. So pwede ka comparative sa qualitative. Although you can also conduct comparative study sa quantitative, pero mas uh, you can include the the complex aspects sa qualitative kasi you are free to um, analyze everything what you can see sa inyong data. It provides understanding and description of people's personal experiences and phenomena. So this is the uh, one of the best advantages sa qualitative study kasi included yung opinion ng research participants. And you can ask them many questions as long as related siya sa inyong research. Then they can also maka-expound sila silang answer. They can expound their answers to your survey questions. Unlike sa quantitative, they're just going to rate the questions or statements based on sa scaling. Kung ano yung scaling sa survey questionnaire. It can be described in detail the phenomena as they are situated and embedded in local context. So what I've always mentioned in qualitative, they can expound their answers or they can give more details. The researcher usually identifies contextual and setting factors as they relate to the phenomenon of interest. So, qualitative studies highly contextualized siya kasi you need to interview one by one your research participants. Um, you can do individual interviews and analyze their answers. Okay, the researcher can study dynamic processes. So, even though meron tayong methods na pina-follow, especially you need to consider your research tool based on your theory base, but still you can come up with um, another knowledge based dun sa data. Just like sa thesis ko when I was in college, although meron akong theoretical framework na finalo, kasi yung study ko is about um, pragmatic functions of Cebuano Kuan. Okay, if you're familiar, when we talk in our language, say, di ba, we can mention Kuan good, si Kuan, ana. That's my study. What's the meaning of Kuan? So, meron akong theoretical framework or theory-based na finalo. So, meron that theory enumerated the different functions of Kuan. But the thing is, when you study, uh, when I analyze my data, I found out na aside doon sa functions na na-mention sa theory ko, merong other functions pa. So, meaning na you need to uh, you need to prepare yourselves that you can encounter um, various knowledge that are not bound doon sa theory ninyo. Kaya dynamic itong qualitative. The researcher can use a primarily qualitative method of grounded theory to inductively generate a tentative but explanatory theory about a phenomenon. So even though wala kayong concrete na theoretical framework, but sa qualitative study, you can still conduct a research even though you don't have a concrete theoretical framework. Unlike sa quantitative, meron talagang theory na fina-follow. Kasi if you don't have theory, then you don't have a research instrument. And that's very important kapag sa quantitative. Sa qualitative, even though you don't have a concrete theoretical framework, but because you can still conduct, you can make a theory of your own based sa study nyo. Then the weaknesses of qualitative research. Okay, the knowledge produced might not be applicable to other people or other settings. So, as what I have mentioned, it's highly contextualized siya. Pwede, the knowledge that you generate on your study is not applicable sa other settings. Or the conclusion that you deduced is not necessarily the same sa other settings or other contexts. Inflexibility is more difficult to maintain, assess, and demonstrate. So, sa qualitative study, it's very common if even though you conduct the same topic, but still iba-iba yung resulta, iba-iba yung magiging conclusion. It's because highly contextualized siya na study. It is sometimes not as well understood and accepted as quantitative research within the scientific community. Kasi sa scientific community, they accept data, kanang mga research studies na ang data kay kanang ma-quantify gani siya. Kasi you can come up because in tawag gani sa scientific community, they want to deal with numbers kasi pwede siya ma-analyze using statistical treatment. Dito kasi sa qualitative, pwede siya mahulog na subjective siya. And ang quantitative kasi is highly objective kasi you're dealing with numbers man. So that's the Waterloo of qualitative study or young weakness. The researcher's presence during data gathering, which is often unavoidable in qualitative research, can affect the subject's response. So, halimbawa, if during focus group discussion or interview, that's your method in gathering of data, mga interview, pwede you as a researcher can affect how um, the participants will answer the questions. Although these things can be avoided, your researcher must be aware that you need to stick to your plan. For example, when you ask questions to your uh, research participants, do not suggest an answer. Do not give a suggestion. Although you can elaborate the question, you can translate the question iba yung if the participants do not understand the language that you are using. Halimbawa, kapag English yung ginagamit mo na uh, interview questions and they find it hard to understand yung participants nyo, then kailangan mo translate mo lang. No need to give suggestions. Kasi pwede mabias ang iyong answer. Pwede ka makaapekto sa ilang answer. So, dili na genuine ang yung data makuha. So, pwede siya ma-avoid as long as you just have to ask them the questions that you're intended to ask. No need to suggest the answer. Then it is difficult to make quantitative predictions kasi nga opinion or narrative or content analysis ang ginabuhat sa qualitative. Dili siya numbers. It is more difficult to test hypotheses and theories with large participant pools. Ito sa qualitative study, you're not going to test hypothesis. Kasi sa hypothesis, kailangan siya ma-quantify yung data o kailangan siya og statistical treatment para ma-analyze ang data. Sa qualitative kasi, it's about evaluation of data based dun sa theoretical framework ninyo. It's about how you as a researcher, how you analyze the data. No need to use any kind of treatment para ma-analyze. Kasi dili number ang inyong gina-deal sa qualitative. It might have lower credibility with some administrators and commissioners of programs. So, kasi, that's what I've mentioned, it's about you as a researcher kung paano mo i-analyze yung data. Unlike sa quantitative, meron kang software, meron kang specific or appropriate na statistical treatment na gamiton pag-analyze sa study, which is dili siya makaapekto. Ang imong biases dili makaapekto sa pag-analyze kasi number man naman kay statistical treatment. Unlike sa qualitative, it's about how you evaluate your data. Ikaw man mag-evaluate mismo sa data. Okay, it generally takes more time to collect the data compared to quantitative research. So, this conducting a qualitative study can be laborious in some cases. Halimbawa, if mag-interview ka, so you need to record the interview. So, naka yung mga recordings. So, you need to transcribe pa everything that has been said during the interview. You need to transcribe. Even the pauses, the fillers, kailangan niyo i-transcribe. So, this is what I did sa thesis na ako. Kasi thesis na ako, ang data na ko ato is radio conversations sa mga disc jockeys, local disc jockeys. Sa Dix AB Tambayan, those ceremonies. I don't know if that program still exists. Kasi that time, nag-record ko og radio conversations. So, about is three recording siya. So ako dyan siyang gitranscribe tanan. Tanang gipang storya sa DJ sa program. Ako dyan siyang gipang transcribe and it's a long process. Unlike sa quantitative, you just have to disseminate the survey questionnaire just like what you did. Automated siya nga survey, like they just have to answer the Google Forms. So, easier ang pag-gather sa data sa quantitative compared sa qualitative. And data analysis is often time-consuming kasi analysis siya, you need to analyze one by one. You need to, halimbawa, kapag sa interview, you have 5 persons, five participants, tapos individual interview yung ginawa ninyo. Every response of the participant, kailangan siya i-analyze. Unlike sa quantitative, i-generate lang nimo ang mean, ang average. After mo man og tally sa data, the results are more easily influenced by the researcher's personal biases and idiosyncrasies. So, your biases can sometimes influence how you analyze your study. Kasi nga, may pagka-subjective siya, although you have the theoretical framework that you're using, but still, it's up to you who are going to analyze your study. So, pwede siya mabias. So, you need to make sure that you need to stick to your theoretical framework or research tool. And that's it. Do you have questions? Clarification about our topic? If wala, mag-proceed ko sa submission sa inyong research. So, sa January 23, you need to submit your introduction. Your introduction includes the background of the study, review of related literature, statement of the problem, at saka theory base. Pagka January 30, yung research design naman, research participant, yung methods. It includes research design, the participants, procedure, corpora, or tool. Okay, I'm going to show to you the format of your study and a sample. Maklaro ang screen, present, ang document. Okay, so this is the format. First is yung a cover page. So this is just for sa third quarter pa ni. Pagka fourth quarter o final paper ninyo is madungagan pa ni siya. Meron tayong tinatawag na preliminary pages. But for now, ito muna. So first is yung title page. So the size of your research, yung paper size is ano siya? Sa ganito ni A4. A4 siya, tapos yung margin sa top, sa bottom, at saka sa right side, 1 inch. Pero dito sa left side, 1.5 yung yung margin. Tapos yung title, naka-bold, all caps, single space. If two lines, if yung title ninyo, umabot siya ng 2 lines, single space lang siya. Tapos yung font style, Arial, at saka 12 yung font size. So merong logo ng school. Ito, single space. Yes, I'm going to, I think na-post ko na sa Schoology, pero i-check ko sa Schoology ha kung na-post ko na. Kung wala pa, i-post ko later. Tapos ito. Then the name of the members, tapos yung month and year. So since January, February yung ilagay ninyo kasi February yung outline defense ninyo. Hmm. Ay. And then the introduction. This section presents the background of the study, review of related literature, estimate of the problem, and theory base. So, naka-label ang every section ha. Like for example, yung introduction. Meron siya nakalagay na number 1. And under introduction, background of the study, review of related literature, statement of the problem, theory base. Yan yung sa introduction. Naka-double space na siya dito sa content. Although dito, single space lang siya, pero pagdating sa content, double space na siya ha. Tapos after introduction, two methods. The study underwent systematic and organized procedures in order to be completed. Hence, this research section includes the research design, research procedures, research corpora, and the research tool used in the study. Halimbawa, research design, research procedure sa i-label na number 2 kasi second part na itong methods. Tapos under the methods, itong research design, 2.1, 2.2, research procedures. Then, research corpora, then research tool. Sa third part, yung results and discussion, sa fourth quarter na ni. So sa third quarter, introduction of methods lang sa ta. So I'm going to show an example sa Finnish research paper ginawa ng previous students ko that school year. Kaya ito, preliminary pages pa ito sa final defense nyo na i-submit pagka fourth quarter. Pero ipakita lang ako sa inyo ha. So first is ang tawag ani cover page. Tapos declaration of originality. Approval sheet to be signed by me as your practical research teacher. Then yung focal person si Ma'am Princess. Tapos yung abstract. Then acknowledgement. Then dedication. Then table of contents. So doon sa isubmit ninyo, yung finish output nila. Introduction, background of the study, review of related literature. To sa review of related literature, depende siya kung ano magiging content ninyo. Depende sa study. So on January 23, you submit your Saturday na siya, you submit your introduction. So tomorrow will give you an outline kung paano nyo isulat, especially sa related literature, kung ano yung what are the literature that you need to gather to include in your study. So we'll give you an outline sa study nyo since I think this is your first time mag-conduct ng study. So I need to guide you. I need to make an outline. At least meron kayong idea kung ano yung susulat ninyo sa paper ninyo. So tanan na ba nanay nanay theory, nanay study, kinsa pang wala? Okay naman mo no, Reniel?
Yes, sir.
Okay na inyo. Inyo, Junmar. Asan si Junmar? Inyo, Jabber. Inyo, Fria. Okay na to inyo, ha? Final na to?
Sir, ang bot nila, sir.
Kasi ambot.
Hindi mo ko sila, sir. Dili, wala din sila pakialam. Ana lang, sir.
Yung kagrupo, pakialam.
Ang
Sa
uban, sir.
muka, uy.
Di sila gusto mo graduate. Wala sila.
Ay, pasagdiin na sila, uy. Sige lang, nabay ito peer evaluation. Hindi sila mo contribute, mo collaborate, bahala sila. We'll give them the grade that they deserve. Sira daw mic ni ni Jabber. Sa inyo, Angeli, okay na sa inyo? I just got my internet well. Diba last, sino kagrupo mo? Kagrupo mo ni Darrell, Angeli? I'm okay naman yata. But lang kung sure na ba to sila. Guys, you need to, you need to finalize na sa inyong study kay tomorrow, we'll give an outline. Anyway, I have your, naman, kato mga theoretical framework ninyo. Pwede nyo gamitin theoretical framework para mahatag na ko ang outline sa inyo ha, kung saan yung pagsulat sa inyong paper ha. I-finalize ninyo. Katong mga grupo na nagduha-duha pa, dili pa sure, you need to notify me kung okay na mo. Kay para, I think na sa Schoology, na-post na ako ang uban nga PDF file katong mga na-finalize na. Na-post yata na ako. Naka-send ko sa yung personally sa katong group member na na ako ang ka-communicate. I think na yata si Darrell ato, Angeli. So mag-message ko sa GC after this one ha, kay para na, matagaan ta mo tomorrow kung unsang inyong as outline para maka-start na mo. Okay? Can you have questions, clarifications? Okay na ta? Well, I'm going to end the conference na. Basta tomorrow, i-update ta mo. Buwatan ta mong outline para sa inyo ang research. Okay? So, if you don't have any concerns or questions anymore, I think it's a wrap. Okay, I'm going to end na. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.